It's around the world in 30 minutes with me, Alhamdulillah Lawrence. The headlines: extreme fire weather scenario in Los Angeles, California. Take you through that. Trump escaped conviction for criminal efforts to retain power. Plus, Russia accuses US and Ukraine of targeting Turk Stream gas pipeline. A pleasant afternoon rather. Welcome to the show. We begin with LA, where firefighters are battling several blazes in the Los Angeles area as U.S. officials urged residents to prepare for the return of strong winds that could potentially cause explosive fire growth. Authorities say progress is being made to contain the major Palisades, Eaton, and Hurst fires, which have killed at least 24 people and destroyed more than 12,000 homes. 3 major wildfires continue to burn in the Los Angeles area, with the Palisades fire, the first to erupt a week ago and the biggest, only 14% contained. Weather forecasters warn Santa Ana winds will continue to influence weather conditions until Wednesday evening. A red flag warning, an alert for extreme fire-related weather conditions, is in place across the whole of Los Angeles County. The National Weather Service said wind gusts could reach up to 55 mph. Nearly 1,000 prisoners have been fighting the fires in Los Angeles County. They cut down trees and cleared land to create fire breaks to starve the blaze of fuel. Some people have likened this use of prison labor to slavery. Inmates are paid as little as 15 cents per hour and up to a maximum of $10 a day. Even though they can earn an extra $1 an hour during an active emergency, they are paid a fraction of what their professional firefighter colleagues make. Estimates suggest they are 4 times more likely to be injured or killed than professional firefighters. Southern California, Edison SCE, has been hit by multiple lawsuits claiming its electrical equipment started one of the major wildfires currently raging in the Los Angeles area. CEO of its parent company, Edison International, says it continues to investigate and hasn't identified any electrical anomalies from its equipment around the time the Eden fire broke out. Authorities haven't determined an official cause for the fires, which rose to life last Tuesday. Moving ahead, still in the United States, Donald Trump would have been convicted for criminal efforts to retain power following the 2020 United States presidential election had he not won the 2024 race, prosecutors have said. A report published by Attorney General Merrick Garland on Tuesday includes accusations made by U.S. Special Counsel Jack Smith that the president-elect plotted to obstruct the collection and certification of votes following his 2020 defeat to Joe Biden. The published document concludes that the evidence will have been enough to convict Trump at trial, were it not for his re-election in November, as set forth in the original and superseding indictments, when it became clear that Mr. Trump had lost the election and that lawful means of challenging the election result had failed. He resorted to a series of criminal efforts to retain power, the report said. The incoming president was indicted in August 2023 on charges of working to overturn the election. However, the case was delayed by appeals and ultimately significantly narrowed by the conservative majority Supreme Court, which decided that former presidents enjoy sweeping immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts. In response to the report, Trump, who will return to the White House on January 20th, called Smith a lumbering prosecutor who was unable to get his tried before the election. The incoming president, who lampooned the special counsel regularly during the investigation, called Smith a disgrace to himself, his family, and his country. A second section of the report details another case in which Smith accuses Trump of illegally retaining sensitive national security documents after leaving the White House in 2021. The Department of Justice has committed not to make that portion public while legal proceedings continue against two Trump associates charged in the case. Smith dropped both cases after Trump defeated Democrat Kamala Harris in the last year's election, citing a long-standing Justice Department policy against prosecuting a sitting president. Neither case reached trial. Trump repeatedly called Smith deranged, asserting the cases were politically motivated and an effort to damage his campaign and political movement. Trump had sought to block the release of the report, but the courts rebuffed his demand. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon, who presided over the documents case, has ordered the Justice Department to halt plans for now to allow certain senior members of Congress to privately review the relevant section of the report. Now I head to Russia, where they have accused the United States of seeking to sabotage Turk Stream, the last pipeline carrying Russian gas exports into Europe. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov alleged at a news conference on Tuesday that Washington is encouraging terrorist attacks on its country's energy infrastructure and claimed there are plans to target Turk Stream. The U.S. does not tolerate competition in any sphere, including energy. They are recklessly endorsing terrorist activities aimed at undermining the energy stability of the European Union, Lavrov said. According to Turkey's Anadolu News Agency, they are encouraging their Ukrainian proxies of disabled Turk Stream following the sabotage of the Nord Stream, he added. Russia said on Monday that it had downed 9 Ukrainian drones that had tried to attack part of Turk Stream's infrastructure. The pipeline is the last carrying Russian gas into the European Union after Ukraine refused to renew a transit contract that expired at the end of 2024. The halt on that route has further disrupted European Union unity on the war, with Slovakia claiming it will cause a crisis and threatening to block EU support for Kyiv. Russia called the targeting of the pipeline, which runs beneath the Black Sea to Turkey before sending gas onwards to Hungary and Australia, an act of energy terrorism. Kyiv has not commented on the report yet. Moscow has accused US-backed Ukrainian agents of sabotaging Nord Stream. The pipeline beneath the Baltic Sea blew up in September 2022. Ukraine launched a massive airstrike, hitting multiple targets in Russia overnight on Tuesday, according to media reports in both countries. Hundreds of drones and missiles were fired, with industrial facilities damaged and schools forced to close in at least 3 cities. The short Telegram channel said Russia had downed more than 200 Ukrainian drones and 5 US-made ATACMS ballistic missiles. The head of Ukraine's official center against disinformation, Andriy Kovalenko, told Ukrainian TV on Tuesday that the strikes had targeted weapon production plants, oil refineries, and warehouses in Angels, Saratov, Kazan, Bryansk, and Tula. In the energy-rich region of Tatarstan, a drone hit a gas storage tank, sending flames and thick smoke blowing towards the sky near the city of Kazan, according to the media and the regional government. In Angels, more than 600 kilometers, about 373 miles southwest of Kazan, a massive drone attack damaged 2 industrial sites, Region Governor Roman Brozhinin wrote on Telegram. Schools in Saratov and Angels would hold classes online because of the attacks, he added. Alexander Bogumaz, the governor of the Bryansk region in western Russia, said Ukraine had launched a major missile attack, but did not say which missiles had been used. Ukraine fired US-supplied ATACMs and British Storm Shadow missiles into Russia on November 21st last year, prompting Moscow to respond by launching a new intermediate-range hypersonic ballistic missile known as Oreshnik or Hazel 3 at Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine have upped their strikes on each other before U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20th. Ukraine's Air Force reported on Tuesday that it had shot down 58 out of 80 drones launched by Russia over 11 regions overnight. Trump has said he aimed to stop the nearly 3-year conflict, and his side wants to be in the strongest negotiating position before the new U.S. administration begins any talks on ending the conflict. Uncertainty hangs over the president-elect's plans for Washington's support for Ukraine. However, Trump is also eager to persuade European nations to buy more U.S. liquefied natural gas, a quest that a further reduction of Russian gas supplies could help. Now I head to Germany, where highest court has rejected an appeal by the company that operates Germany's top-flight football league against having to pay for policing costs of high-risk football matches. The decision handed down by the Constitutional Court in Karlsruhe on Tuesday means that German authorities may require Bundesliga football clubs to foot part of the bill for games designated as being at a high risk of violence. In doing so, the court rejected an appeal by the German Football League, which operates Germany's top 2 football leagues, against a 2014 decision by the city-state of Bremen. Since then, Bremen's fees and contributions act as stipulated that the authorities may bill organizers for for-profit events or more than 5,000 people, which could be reasonably expected to be associated with violence. Constitutional Court President Stephen Hubbard said in the ruling that the Bremen regulation was compatible with Germany's basic law, as the aim of the regulation is to shift the costs to the party that has caused them. German football matches are classified as high risk when violence is suspected between fans from the teams involved. The DFL received the first notification in 2015 for a Bundesliga match between northern rivals Werder Bremen and Hamburg. The city-state of Bremen billed the DFL for around 400,000 euros, about £410,390 in policing costs. Since then, the total amount of billing has reached more than €3 million. The DFL had initially successfully challenged the law in 2017. However, Bremen's right to pass the costs on to football clubs was subsequently upheld twice in higher courts, and Germany's highest court has now upheld it. While the decision so far only applies to Bremen in practice, it is thought that following the ruling, other German states could follow suit and begin billing Bundesliga clubs for partial policing costs associated with high-risk matches. Moving ahead, NATO boss Mark Rutte said Trump has been right many times and played it cool when grilled by members of the European Parliament on the president-elect's Greenland plans. For the boss of a military alliance dedicated to mutual security, NATO chief Mark Rutte seemed unperturbed by one member's recent threats to annex Allied territory. On his first official visit to the European Parliament on Monday, Rutte was quizzed by lawmakers on everything from ammunition standards to suspected Russian sabotage at sea. But it was the outward situation within the alliance which really got parliamentarians talking after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's recent overtures toward Greenland and his refusal to rule out using force to take the Arctic island. Faced with multiple questions about the autonomous Danish territory, Rutte danced around the issue. The new incoming U.S. administration will start next Monday. We've seen some press conferences, some things being said by some people in the United States. But I will say let's take this forward starting from next Monday, he told lawmakers. Trump has been right many times, Rutte said later in his remarks. We need to dialogue with him, and I like very much the reaction of Mette Frederiksen, the Prime Minister of Denmark, who did not immediately react to what he said about Greenland, but she brought it back to the issue which is at stake, which is the Arctic, he added. Melting Arctic ice caused by climate change has been heating up global geopolitics in recent years, a broader issue Rutte said allies should discuss in more detail. This is not about who rules or controls Greenland. This is, of course, about making sure the Arctic stays safe. Swedish center-left MEP Evan Inke slammed them as unacceptable statements which play into the hands of Russia and China, and urged Rutte to stand firm in support of Denmark and Greenland in these times of rising geopolitical tension. But researcher Bruno Letti, an expert in the transatlantic ties, thinks the NATO chief is trying some carefully calculated diplomacy. Rutte needs to balance the critical stance of Trump towards NATO itself. Think about the question around defense spending against Trump's comments regarding annexing sovereign territory of a NATO member state, he told Deutsche Welle. To divert this tension, Rutte may rather choose to leave the issue of Greenland to Denmark rather than positioning it at alliance level. In sum, Rutte is carefully choosing which fights to pick, given Trump's track record on raising heart rates in Europe with overnight social media posts. It likely won't be the last time Rutte has to paper over the cracks of a sticky situation. And it seems this time, at least, he is playing nice. And that's the size of what is going on around the world with me, Alhamdulillah Lawrence. Thank you so much for listening. From me and the rest of the team, it's bye for now.